Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As-salatu wa salamu alayka ya Sayyidi ya Rasulullah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Sayyidi ya Nurullah. Respected Muslim brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Respected Muslim brothers, these days some Muslims are having an unhealthy obsession with debating and disputation over metaphysics and theology, abstract theology, speculative theology, which is unhealthy, which is a distraction, which is something I don't think Allah likes or His Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam likes, that Muslims should dispute with one another. The Prophet ﷺ, once in his presence, the companions were disputing concerning the issue of qadr, destiny, and his face, the color of his face changed. The anger became apparent upon his expression, and he said that don't do this. I forbid you from this. This type of vain disputation about things that are beyond human comprehension, about things that are the human mind is limited and cannot comprehend, no matter how intelligent and how deeply it reflects. This is why there's a hadith that says that reflect on the creation, not upon the creator. Because the creator, Allah, his Dhat, his person, his essence is beyond comprehension. For us, our limited human minds, we cannot comprehend. Is so above and beyond. He is so he's transcendent. So we should have a theology where we just restrict ourselves to what Allah has mentioned about Himself, how He described Himself in the Quran, in the Sunnah, and that's it. And we should leave it at that. And those matters which are from the mutashabihat, those matters, which might cause confusion or have difference of interpretation, the mutashabihat, then we say that Allah knows best what it means and leave it at that. When Allah speaks about, hand and eyes and face and these type of matters, ascribed to Him, we just say we don't know what this means. Allahu wa rasuluhu a'lam. Allah knows best, His Rasul knows best. We don't know, and it's not our purpose to delve into these matters. There's nothing fruitful will come out of delving into them. So these debates you see, intra-Sunni debates, Ash'ari versus Athari versus Maturidi, Wahdat al-Wujud and Wahdat al-Shuhud, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And then there's the debates that Sunnis have with Mu'tazilis and Shi'i and other sects. These are all debates which I think are distractions from more important issues. And these are things that are a waste of time and waste of labor and waste of focus. Respected viewers and listeners, some Muslims have made fatwa of kufr upon other Muslims for believing in things such as what I have just expressed, like Allah is, when He speaks of His hands, when He speaks of His eyes, when He speaks of His face, then we say Allah knows best the meaning. Some people have done ta'wil and said that it means His power, it means His control, Him being over the arsh. We Sunni Muslims, some people make interpretation which is based on the language and is sensible based on the context. And some Muslims say Allah knows best, Allah and His Apostle know best what they mean. So I take the latter position and I say consign the meaning to Allah's knowledge. And of course we affirm what Ahl Sunnah have affirmed, that Allah is alive, He has attributes, He has the attribute of life and power and knowledge, and He sees, He has sight, and He hears everything. He has the attribute of hearing, and He speaks, He has the attribute of speech, because these matters were denied by some of the early heretical groups like the Mu'tazila and the Qadariyya and so on. Then some of our great Sufis and mystics, through their kashf, they explain things which are at a very high level, such as Wahdat al-Wujud and Wahdat al-Shuhud. Sheikh Ibn Arabi and Sheikh Ahmad Sirhindi, they came up with these, or they had kashf regarding these ideas, meaning they had a unveiling from Allah. Their heart, something was unveiled to their hearts regarding the reality of Allah with regard to the doctrine of Wahdat al-Wujud and Wahdat al-Shuhud. Now I personally lean toward the doctrine of Wahdat al-Shuhud, and I want to explain what it is. It's a beautiful doctrine, but it's very simple. Anyone can understand it. Wahdat al-Shuhud means that it's an experiential matter. It's not ontological. This is the first thing you got to understand. The experience of some of the believers who have reached a high level and have absorbed themselves in the worship of Allah and in reflection and doing dhikr, they have come to the realization that Allah, He is witnessed in everything. That you can see a reflection of Him, a manifestation of Him and everything. And this is not pantheism. So for instance, if you have a glass in front of the sun, you see the shadow that falls on the ground. The shadow of an object is on the ground. The shadow is, of course, it is a real thing as well. It has substance to it. It is not an imagination. It's not an imaginary. The shadow has substance. It has being to itself. But it is dependent upon the object that it's a shadow of. If that object is taken away, there is no shadow. And the shape of the shadow, the form of the shadow depends on the object. So even though the shadow is separate from the object, in one sense, in another sense, it's dependent upon the object. In another sense, the shadow is the reflection of the object, but it is not imaginary, it's real. This is Wahdat al-Shuhud. Wahdat al-Shuhud means oneness of perception. Oneness of perception. Some of our Sufis, some of our saints, mystics, they reached a level where the only thing they could see is Allah. The only thing they could perceive is Allah. They couldn't perceive anything else. This is Wahdat al-Shuhud. Where if you're looking at the object from an angle where the shadow is not apparent, then you only see the object, you don't see the shadows with it. This is Wahdat al-Shuhud. This is what we Sunnis believe and take from the doctrine of Sheikh Ahmad Sirhindi rahmatullah alayhi, Mujaddid al-Fithani. That's the one that we go. Now Wahdat al-Wujud is also something that Sheikh Ibn Arabi came up with. Wahdat al-Wujud is something that Sheikh Ibn Arabi was the first to get a kashf regarding. But it is so technical, it is such a high level metaphysics that it is something that the laity should not concern themselves with. And even many of the ulama, they've been told that don't read the books of Ibn Arabi because you could misunderstand them, misinterpret them. It requires a lot of preparation and understanding of his terminology, understanding of his narrative to understand it. Otherwise, many people, they've read his books, they've gone astray, they've gone into perennialism, or they've imagined that pantheism is true. This is not true. This is not correct. This is not the correct interpretation, because Sheikh Ibn Arabi was Orthodox Sunni Muslim. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.